Welcome, friends! Your favorite degenerates, Krista and Jason, are at it again! Let's celebrate the day!
Go try out this SkyTrack thing, maybe. Came up, you gotta have closed-toed shoes on, so I had to go get my frickin' shoes.
Not happy about shoes.
No. I ain't jumping on a cruise ship to wear frickin' closed-toed shoes. I would barely do that at home. Usually only for work. Alright, well that's not gonna happen for us. You can't have anything in your pocket, so I got nowhere to put the camera, so that's our second time up there. All right, we're gonna take one more frickin' try at this. And I'm just gonna have Krista do it because I don't feel like wearing closed-toed shoes and I'm not leaving all my crap behind. This way, if she needs to leave something with me, then there's somebody to hold it. I think there should be lockers there, or I did not hear her say that there are. So we'll see if someone can ride the SkyTrack today. We'll consider this a big deal if we actually get it done. Chris is looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm not a happy camper about it.
No, I get it. There's nothing on any of the apps that give you the rules. There's nothing about when it's open or closed. There's just nothing. So I get it.
Trying to make it easy for everybody else. So there are lockers. They're not very big, so.
$20 t-shirt sale that you do not want to miss out on. And at 10:30, I will meet everyone to be in the Liquid Lounge on decks 4 and 5 for room 4, our CRDG presentation. This is what I'm going to tell you how to take getting off the ship tomorrow morning once we arrive back in Miami so much easier. So I always recommend you send down the most responsible person from your party to gather that information so that everyone is
I'm in the lead! This is beautiful! Mommy! Yeah? Wait a minute, where you going?
I think she had a good time. Was it just as epic the second time?
It was great.
That was awesome! Can I go again?
Yeah.
She said she... Wanna go again? Wanna go again? Or you wanna go on the ropes?
Oh, I'm not.
Do the ropes.
You guys gotta do the
You seem like you know something she doesn't know about the ropes.
She don't
You should totally do the ropes.
She
It'll
don't.
be fine.
She don't like the ropes.
You're afraid of heights? It'll be fine. Don't sweat it.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Back for round 2.
Only we're gonna switch.
It almost looks like that other hill is bigger.
Yeah, Krista had a scheme when she was coming down.
When I got to the top of the hill over there, I pedaled until I hit the down over there, and then it was like,
She rode it once. Tacos.
work. It's pedaling, it's work.
All right, got rid of breath.
Okay, I'm done.
You got it out of your system now?
Yeah, I needed a nap.
Well, you actually pedaled this time.
Yeah, I need a nap and maybe an ice cream.
You have to restore those lost calories from all that pedaling.
Hey, it's cruising. Ice cream, 20.
I say we take them in the form of beer.
Beer?
Brewery tour next. No,
But we can go for beer. You can go for beer and drink mine.
that's what's probably going to happen. So with the brewery tour, supposedly you get a free flight and like a coupon for a free beer. So there's 2 flights and 2 beers
You going?
in this coupon or in this tour thing. So
Here we go.
where are you going?
Going on this thing.
Yeah, do the ropes course now.
Hi.
Hello, how are you? How are you?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, thank you.
Alright, hold on to this. So you're gonna step over the yellow and then into the ring, step it back, and there you go. You've done this before?
Yeah, I've done harnesses before.
Sorry, missed it.
Not in.
This one.
Here we're going to do this one.
There you
Really?
go. Up and over your shoulders.
My legs don't bend like that. I'm on a cruise. I've been eating.
Right?
While we're preparing you for the next meal. Then some like exercise.
Right? I'm gonna need exercise.
Alright, hold right here. Turn around.
This is the part I'm not gonna like.
Oh, you're gonna like this. Don't worry.
Okay, that wasn't so bad.
Alright, turn around.
Hey, whisper in my ear a little bit.
Okay, you can let go of that one. How's that?
I feel like I need to do a polka.
It's like later hosting.
Yeah. Up I go. I'm ready. Yeah. I'm way up high. I'm very high.
teamwork in it, though. We're supporting each other. You got this. No, you got this. Ken's like over there at the finish line already. He's like, I got this.
How was it? Good?
It was awesome.
Harder trying to get this Lily all the way down these stairs.
I think you're right. That was cool.
You guys conquer your fears?
I didn't have any fears. I just gonna go. But it was like a balance beam, so it was like really cool.
The gymnastic stuff.
Yeah, I was like, I got this shit.
Hercules! Hercules!
There was a lot of them that were, for short people, a little shorter than planned.
Alright, we need to get to breweries.
Let's go.
Good job.
Thank you.
We are off to Guys Pig and Anchor for the brewery tour, which should be fun. It's a mask deal, I'm sure, and I can hardly wait till we are done with the mask thing because it sucks. But we are at least on a cruise ship.
Yes.
Hey guys. So, cruise ship with a mask is better than no cruise ship.
Yes.
I actually credit it to saving humanity. You guys laugh. Oh, he's kidding. No, back in the olden times, when people drank water, they usually got dysentery and died. They didn't really understand potable water, or that microbes were in the water and they had to boil it or pasteurize it or purify it. They just knew that when they were drinking beer, they felt good and they weren't dying. A lot of that had to do with the alcohol content of the beer and the low pH of the beer. So they started drinking beer instead, and they started making it more and more because that was the only way that these civilizations weren't dying. Yay, beer. It saved humanity.
It did.
Because it kept people from getting dysentery and dying. So, yes. Who knows the 4 ingredients of beer? Not my smart table. Calm down, guys. Water.
Sugar.
Grains.
Grain, and yeast.
So water and yeast, yes. Grains are the sugar, so that's sort of one in itself. What's the big one that a lot of people don't like? Hops. Yeah. One thing that a lot of people don't like, hops. So those 4 ingredients are going to be in all of your beers ever. We're going to start with the amber because it's the lightest and it's 10 a.m. and you guys need to warm up with something nice and easy. The amber is going to showcase our malt. And the malting process is actually really cool. They take these different grains, they spread them out on this big floor, and they actually like kiln them. So most of these beers are going to have a ton of really lightly kilned malts to back all that sugar up. And then we're going to add some specialty roasty malts to give it these beautiful colors. So yes, pour away, drink.
I don't blame us.
Is that right?
So yeah, like I said, this is going to be the most easy drinking beer that we do have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It might look a little darker than your traditional lager that you may be accustomed to, but
Prost.
German for cheers, like a camp.
That's good. Cheers.
You can start pouring the next ones too.
Sorry, I poured yours a little
Farmhouse.
screwed up. I got theirs really perfect. I got yours all messed up.
I was the test pour.
Test point, huh?
That means you can have a second one faster.
So yeah, as you guys can see, these pitchers are nice and full, so buckle up. 10 a.m., get ready. Because we've got 4 more of these coming. So the next beer is our farmhouse ale. And this is going to showcase the most important, not even what I think is the most important ingredient in beer, which is the yeast. There's a famous saying from Dave Miller, brewers make wort. Wort is that sugar water that I was talking about. Yeast makes beer. We're glorified babysitters. We make sugar water, and then we babysit the yeast so that they can do their jobs to create alcohol and CO2 and all these other delicious byproducts that we're definitely going to be tasting in this beer. So this farmhouse ale, how many of you guys are like big farmhouse fans? Yeah? How many of you guys don't know what a farmhouse is? Yes. So farmhouse beers are going to be traditionally farmhousey. What does that mean? Think about if has anybody like walked into a barn and you sort of smell the hay, you smell the horse blanket, the like leathery stable feel. So that's sort of what a farmhouse ale originated as. Obviously, as brewing techniques have become more, I guess, standardized, we've sort of pulled those flavors back into farmhouse ale. So certain farmhouses will be drier and funkier, others will be almost like banana-y. The one that we're going to be trying today is very heavy on like cloves and pepper. Really big fan of that because I like clovey farmhouse ales and I get to make the beer, so I made it really clovey. That's the benefits of being the brewmaster, is you can make what you want. So yes, cloves. Let's go back. Cloves. Woo! Yeast. So this is actually really cool because this beer just got back on tap. I don't know if you guys heard. We were in Italy for a while.
Really?
Yeah, we were in dry dock. They canceled a couple cruises. Some of you guys may have been impacted by that.
Yeah, us.
We were impacted by that. I say we. Me was impacted by that. Whew.
I had a little of this last
So
night.
yeah,
It was good.
when we went to Italy, a bunch of the stuff stopped on the ship. They were shutting lights off, power off. They got to do tests, all sorts of fun stuff to repair whatever issue with the engine they had. And we lost a lot of beer to the fishes. Bye. We weren't allowed to brew in Italy. Taxes and stuff, you know, legalese. So we had to brew all these beers on the way back. So it was a lot of fun. Last cruise, which was our first one back, didn't get to have the farmhouse. Only the people on the tour did, and they got it, you know. So you guys are the first ones that actually get to drink it. So, you know, good job booking the second cruise back and not the first one.
Right?
Plus you got, you know, 6 days of fun. Now time for the most polarizing beer that we will have. How many of you guys love IPAs? How many of you guys are hop heads?
Ooh, me.
How many of you guys hate IPAs?
Put your hands down.
So I love asking this question because it's such a polarizing beer. You either love them or you hate them. The craziest thing about it is IPAs make up about 46% of the American craft beer market. Half of you guys love them, half of you guys said you hated them. But it's still half of craft beer sold in America. I guess that just tells me that IPA drinkers drink a lot more. I don't know. But yes, now on to hops. I think I'm wearing a hop. Yes, I'm wearing my Crosby hops hat. So hops are really cool. Hops are a flower. Beautiful flower. Tons of different styles, tons of different flavors that are with these flowers. Has anybody ever seen a hop field? Yeah? In the Pacific Northwest? Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yakima.
Yakima Valley?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I grew up.
You grew up there? Oh, beautiful, aren't
Not
they?
actually in the field. I mean, she's not in the middle.
You grew up in the field.
My grandmother and grandfather, my great-grandparents owned hop fields, and my great-grandmother used to work in the fields.
So you're gonna mule me some hops?
So I'm very familiar with the hop field.
Beautiful. The one that we're gonna be trying first is our West Coast IPA. When I say West Coast IPA, that means that it's gonna be originated from the West Coast of America, but bitter, piney, grassy, focusing more on those flavors and a little less on the fruitier versions of East Coast IPAs, right? So, how many of you guys of the IPA fans like those West Coast styles? East Coast styles, the juicies, hazies, the other ones?
absolutely.
Yes, cool. We'll try one of those later.
If it starts out with I, I'll drink it.
Beautiful. So what does the I stand for in IPA? India. Well, why do we call it India Pale Ale? I just said the largest hop region is Pacific Northwest. Beer started in ancient Sumeria, Germany. Why do we call it India Pale Ale? The British, yes, they were colonizing, occupying, fill in the blank, India. So those British soldiers were like, hey, we're gonna be over here occupying, we need to be drunk while we do it. So these British brewers were brewing their beer, they were putting them in these wooden barrels, and they were shipping them to India. Well, that took a while. They weren't going 21 knots like we are today. They were going like 6 knots. So it took them months and months before the beer got to the soldiers in India. Well, by the time that happened, it was spoiled, it was soured, it was disgusting. Skunky. These soldiers were like, hey, I can't oppress people on skunked beer, all right? Can't do it. So the brewers in England were actually experimenting, well, not the brewers, some scientists were experimenting with the uses of hops and how they can be used as an antiseptic. So hops actually keep things from growing. They are a very healthy plant and there's a lot of medicinal benefits to hops. But they were just starting to be used as something that, hey, it keeps bad things from growing. So this brewer said, hey, why don't we just try to put a bunch of hops in this barrel and ship it to India and see if it survives? Let's see. So they filled their barrels up the same way and then they just started putting hops in there. And they were like, bung it up, good luck. So 6 knots all the way to India, and it got there and it wasn't skunked, but it was very bitter, it was very hoppy, very grassy, very green, and they said, hey, this is better than the skunky beer that we were getting before. So as the colonization continued and they got accustomed, they developed a taste for this bitterness. When they went back home, they said, hey, I'm ready for this India Pale Ale again. And they were like, no, we don't put hops like that in our beers. We just do that so they're not skunked. But there was such a big demand and drive and acquired taste for this flavor that it actually developed a whole new style. So now the largest style was developed kind of because they wanted to get people drunk far away, and it was the only way to preserve the beer. It's not really going to taste the same, right? The bitterness isn't going to really come through the Guinness as much as it would the Bud Light. So it is an arbitrary scale, but it gives you a good jumping off point. So So if you're ever at a brewery and you're like, man, I hate IPAs, and you see something, and they don't have the style of beer, and you see IBU 74, stay away from it. If you're a hophead and you're like, I don't know what these beers are, IBU 100. Oh, that one. So it gives you sort of a good jumping off point.
It's a good mix, but it's got, I think, 3 different kinds of hops in it.
This one does have 3 different types of hops in it.
Citra, Amarillo.
No Citra. Simcoe. Simcoe is one of the hops that we do put in this beer, and I have a dog named Simcoe. So
That's cute.
Yeah, I love Simcoe hops. I actually like talking about Simcoe. It doesn't get brought up in the tours a lot. So hop flavor and characteristics and descriptors are very interesting. You can use piney, resiny, woody, floral. But you can also have some really interesting things like Simcoe. Simcoe is described as cat piss. If anybody's ever walked into a home with a cat and the litter box has maybe not been cleaned, that smell, that flavor, that aroma, that's what you get from Simcoe hops. Now we obviously have to add other hops in here to sort of balance out and not make it too cat pissy.
Pull back from the cat piss.
But that's also why I named my dog Simcoe. It also rolls off the tongue very well. Sierra Nevada, fantastic brewery. He's one of the pioneers of craft beer. Started in Chico, California, and he started throwing hops in beers and making West Coast IPAs, balancing the malty backbone that you guys are tasting in this beer with these delicate, piney flavors, sort of rounding out with this little citrus. If you can get through the bitterness, I promise there's citrus there.
Did you dry hop the Simcoe?
Yes. Look at you. The good flavor, good palate. So what's funny, most women don't like IPAs, and before
I don't like
I
beer.
get in trouble and all through this, there's a scientific reason behind this. Women have better palates than men. They have more taste buds, traditionally, again. So that's why women typically don't care for IPAs as much as men do. They're perceiving these bitter, offensive, remember we talked about hops being used as an antiseptic. They're producing these to stave off bad things.
Centennial?
Women, yes. Women can taste these flavors much better than men can, for the most part. So that's why most guys are like, more hops. And we're like, that's too many. I can already taste it well enough. So yeah, fun fact. Next time, if you're out with a significant other and you're drinking beers and you're like, oh, this beer's great, you'd be like, well, I have a better palate than you, so you know.
She does. Absolutely.
Calm it down. Yeah, she just picked the hops out of this beer.
That's true,
That's
because
incredible.
I love beer and she can tell me what hops are in the beer.
Clearly.
As you sit at a brewery,
No, I really don't like beer.
So yeah, these hops are really cool. There's tons of different flavors. When you use them while the wort is boiling on the hot side, as I call it, that's what's gonna push these bitter flavors. The bitter, piney, grassy, resiny flavors that we traditionally associate with IPAs. There's been a big swing in the United States of using them on the cold side, using them in the fermenter, using them when the beer is cold, using them when the beer is not boiling, essentially. We call that cold side. Dry hopping, you've probably heard of. What this does is it imparts all the other different flavors that hops have, which are these beautiful tropical, citrus, stone fruit, melon flavors. And they're really fun to showcase. The final beer, the seasonal beer, does showcase those flavors a little bit more. I'm a big fan. I wanted to use it for the tours especially to sort of show you guys, hey, some hop lovers or some hop haters, maybe give some other IPAs a chance. You'll traditionally see a lot of these new IPAs. You'll see IPA, IBU, 14. What? How does that make sense? It's because they're not using any of these hot side. They're not making these beers bitter. They're using the hops for their now bred flavors of melon and citrus and tropical notes. So hops have come a very long way since they were cramming them in barrels to get soldiers drunk far, far away. Now it's time for my favorite beer. Yay, favorite beers. The smoked porter. It's But Austin, it's 10 a.m. I don't want a dark beer. It's too much, too heavy. I don't want it. Trust me.
Said no one ever.
Said no one ever, right? Yeah, you guys are here at 10 a.m. You guys aren't the ones to worry about, right?
Everybody here purposely said never at 10 a.m.
I love this beer so much. It actually has won. You can see our little medal. We submitted this in the porter category at the World Beer Cup, which is a literal cup for the best beers in the world. It's won a bronze medal for like third best porter in the world of all breweries. That's a big deal. I love this beer. It's phenomenal. What we do is we take those malts that are kilned and, you know, made by some guy in suspenders on a farm, and we smoke the malts the same way that you would take ribs or brisket or chicken wings back home and smoke them. It imparts this beautiful smoky flavor into the malt that we utilize in the beer, and it actually comes through very nicely. It's very balanced with the roastiness of the beer. You'll get bacon flavors, but it's still extremely light. This porter is not a stout. There is a difference between porters and stouts. We can talk about that later if we want. Huge fan of this porter. Huge fan if you guys are gonna stay for barbecue, like really drink this beer while you eat. Like it's phenomenal. The beer food pairing isn't nearly as predominant as like wine and cheese and wine and food pairings, but I promise you it is just as, if not more, important. There's so many more styles and flavors that are in beer than there are in wine. And if any of you guys are sommeliers, I apologize, but beer is better than wine.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it was Sierra Nevada Brewing Company,
Yes.
right? What influence did Guy Fieri have on the beers that are being brewed here to be paired with the meals he's got here?
So, Guy is not a brewer,
Right.
but Guy is a phenomenal chef, right? He developed the menu, the food menu. He worked with the original brewer that started on these ships to pair flavors with the products that he had on his menu. So, like the amber is very light and easy, but it still has enough caramel and malt backbone to pair with the heavier barbecue food, right? We don't have a lager here, you guys have noticed. Yeah, because he wants beers that pair well with his foods. The smoked porter is obviously made to pair with this food. The IPA, everybody has to have an IPA. It's 46% of the market, so, you know, we have to have it.
It goes good with everything now.
And
Corn
goes
dogs,
good with everything for the
strawberries.
hotbeds, yes.
He makes hard root beer. He makes.
So,
He makes lots of
Really toasty, smooth. Oh, this is a barbecue beer. Big time barbecue beer.
big time barbecue beer,
We have
right?
a big swimming pool in the
So now
backyard.
is when we're gonna do the walking part.
we do.
I like doing it once I give you guys these 4 beers because we're gonna take pictures and double fists and we're gonna go listen to me ramble on at the brew house. So please fill glasses up, bring pictures, whatever you guys wanna do. We're gonna walk over to the front. We are coming back. We're just gonna go take a look at the brew house so we can learn more about that. And the actual part where I work.
It's good to be drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning. Do you hold the line at noon?
I try.
Is that just a personal goal? Yeah, I don't have that.
I broke it.
I'll drink at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Did everybody make it over here?
Sneak in with that?
Not quite. 2 more. Not quite. It's fine.
I brought it, yeah.
So first of all, I'm going to make you all jealous because this is my work view. Every day. I look right there and I see that. And it's awesome. And it's incredible and you guys should all be jealous. So, yes. This is where I actually do the work. The babysitting happens back there in that room where we were next to, but this is where I actually make this sugar water, the wort that we call it.
So how did you get the job?
Woo! I applied. So I saw there's a brewery forum for like equipment and just bouncing ideas off of each other and job postings. And I was scrolling through one day, and I saw brew on a cruise ship. Is that a real thing? So I threw my name in the hat, and it got picked up. So Yeah, ended up here. But
I think you're
I
being
was
modest.
brewing Shoreside for 7 or 8 years before. Doing all sorts of fun things. I was managing breweries. I opened brewery, and then decided that I sort of wanted to get back to like just making beer and not having employees and hanging out, talking with you guys, drinking beer, and getting back to what got me into this industry, which was the love that I have for beer itself. This is our brew house. This is beautiful, right? For any of you guys that have been to other breweries, you guys have probably seen their brew house, and it's stainless steel. These are clear, so you can see what's going on. There are only 4 of these in North America. Can you guess where the other 3 are?
The other ships?
The other 3 brewery ships, right? Obviously, when they decided to put a brewery on a boat, they were crazy, first of all, and they said, well, if we're going to do that, we might as well let the people see what's going on. We might as well make it the showpiece. We might as well put it right by a main walkway. Make him stand behind a cage like an animal. People throw snacks at him. Yes, so that's exactly what they did. This is real copper. Don't try to scrap it. There's cameras. I know you guys are getting off tomorrow and think you can put some in your luggage, but no, you can't. I need it all. But yeah, these are absolutely beautiful, phenomenal pieces of equipment. When we walked by, there's like a big iPad over here. That controls everything. There's no valves up here. There's nothing up here. I brew from down there. It's boring. You think I'm up here like the Sam Adams commercials, rubbing my face and beard and hops. No, that's not how it works. Push computer buttons now. 21st century. But this is where everything starts. And for a full brew day, it takes me about 12 hours. These are about 125 gallons. Those tanks are 250 gallons. So I have to do the 12-hour brew like twice in one day. It's a very long day on double batch days. It's very fun, exciting. So it takes a while. We have a lot of challenges on board that we will be talking about. So everything starts on this side over here. This is what's called our mash tun. Distilleries have mash tuns, breweries have mash tuns. This is essentially where we just make oatmeal. That's all we do. We put our grains and we put water in and we stir it up and it makes sugar water with a bunch of grains and oats and whatever else we put in there. So we have this big pot of oatmeal. What to do with it? Well, there's no grains floating in your beer, so the rest of the time we're going to spend getting those grains away from it. So after it sits in here and we make our oatmeal and extract our sugars for about an hour, we push it over to this side. And if you guys look at the bottom over here, there's going to be like metal grates on the bottom. What that's going to do is allow us to suspend the grain above and sort of let all of the sugar water drip down through the grains to get rid of all the husks and grainy bits that we don't really want. So we push it over here, we essentially filter the beer, the wort, through all of our grains, back into this. So we're going to go back and forth, don't get dizzy. There's a big metal cylinder on the inside in here. That's called a calandria. That's tied in with the steam system of the ship. So the same boiler that we use to heat the water for your showers, the water, when you turn your sink on, it's the same steam. Not the hot water from your showers, the same steam that heats that water. We don't use shower water in our beers, I promise.
You've heard of shower beer though.
Shower beers are okay.
But not made with shower
but not
water.
with shower water, correct.
Gotcha.
So yeah, this calandria in the middle essentially has steam going through it and allows us to boil our product. Remember, I don't want to give you guys dysentery because beer saved humanity. We're still holding that tradition true, saving humanity one beer at a time. So, we boil our wort over here, and this is where we're going to add our hops that we want to use to make things bitter. This is where the West Coast gets a few more buckets of hops, and Farmhouse gets a little bit of hops. The more hops we add here, obviously, the more bitter it's going to be. The more that IBU number is going to be higher. So we boil for about an hour, hour and a half over here, and then it's back to this side. Told you, don't get dizzy. So Over here, we're gonna spin it in a circle. Like, why are you spinning beers in a circle? So all the hops and all the plant matter that we just added to this beer, we still don't want that in your glass. So we're spinning it around using centrifugal force to sort of pull all that stuff in the middle. So we have this nice, beautiful, clear wort. Nice, beautiful, clear sugar water that we're going to send to make beer. So what we'll do is we pump it right underneath the bar over to the other side. We're not running hoses and stuff. It's actually hard piped underneath the floor over to the cellar side, where we run it through a heat exchanger that essentially takes it from, by the time the whirlpool is done, it's usually about 185, 190 degrees. We usually take it from that all the way down to fermentation temperature, which I told you was like 66. And that happens instantaneously through this heat exchanger. So we're immediately ready to turn that wort into beer.
When is the next scheduled event to make?
To make the beer? So I told you guys I was in Italy and I had to dump all the beer and I had to rebrew all the beer. So I rebrewed all of the beers and filled all of the tanks up. So last week we essentially started with 800 liters of each beer. That means that I don't have to work for a while.
Wait, I saw you here at 9 o'clock. Don't be lying.
I worked really hard for a couple of days while we were on our way over. And now I don't really have to do as much until you guys do your part, right? So that actually brings an interesting thing. Brewing on a ship with, like, when we're at full capacity, like 6,000, 7,000 people on it, it's really hard. Because there's water pumps, yeah, but I need, like, water pressure to make things happen over here. I typically brew on port days, and you guys are out enjoying beaches, going on excursions, drinking at other places. Because when you guys are all on board, when all the crew's on board, when everybody's on board, everybody's showering, the galley's doing dishes, they're doing all sorts of stuff that impacts the water pressure here. Steam as well. When you guys are using your showers and heating that water up, you're pulling more steam away. So what I try to do is when the stress on the system is lower, I try to utilize, the good timings then, because it makes my job much easier. Brewing on sea days, today's very calm, but brewing on sea days, we brewed on one in the Atlantic Ocean on the way over that was a little rocky. When you're doing this and you have 400 liters of boiling liquid, it's kind of scary sometimes. You've got to get close to it and it's rocking around. It's like literally playing with fire.
I might be jumping ahead, but with your trub and all your fermentation and rocky seas, is that...
It's awful. Oh my goodness, it's so miserable.
Makes everything so cloudy.
Yes. Oh, I completely glossed over the fact. So, when we made that oatmeal and we put it over here, we had all that grain, right? A couple 100 pounds of grain go into each batch. What do we do with it? What do you guys think we do with it?
Feed it to the pigs.
Bread.
Feed it to the pigs. There pigs on? I wish. Are there pigs on? I wish.
Just pig and anchor.
Pig and anchor. Barbecue. Yeah, exactly.
You have an anchor, but no pig.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
So shoreside, when we were brewing, I had great relationships with local farmers, and it was like, hey, come grab our grain, feed it to your cow, feed it to your pigs, feed it to whoever, and bring me some like sausages and steaks and eggs and stuff when you come pick it up. And it was a nice little symbiotic relationship. All of the cows on board have gone missing. So we don't have anywhere or anyone to feed the grain to. I don't know how many of you guys are oatmeal fans, but once we get all the sweetness and sugar out of it, it's pretty bland. So we don't want to feed it to you guys either. So what we do is we pump it 2 decks below. And some poor souls have to strain it, get the liquid out, strain it, make sure none of that grain goes into any of the water supply. It's awful. They're very good at it though. It's very impressive when you go down there and look at like the water that they're separating from it. It's crazy impressive. But they do it by hand with strainers. And I sit up here and I spray things out and I look fancy. Those guys are down there working hard. But yeah, we pump it 2 decks below and we store it until we get off in Miami. Once we're in Miami, no idea what happens to it. It just disappears. All right, let's go back and drink more.
Thank you.
We have more beers.
Woo!
Cheers. And feel free to, you know, look at this. Why is there a lime on my brew house?
Corona. That's a great tour.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So chit chatting. She's so sweet. So, she's from Smiling Dog Bakery. No G. Smiling Dog Bakery. And she's out of Naples, and we have to order dog treats for Brandy and Bella from her bakery because she makes them.
Some of the gourmet stuff out of Mount Dora.
There's a
I need to buy
dog
from her.
bakery. Absolutely. That's what cruising's all about, is meeting people and having a good time.
And I just like blew her mind with all the YouTube community stuff. So she's all, what?
Oh, I know. I'm like, we're just gonna have to get together.
Yeah, she's a solo cruiser and she loves beer.
Love beer.
Right?
Like, and I'm out. So.
Oh, we gotta go fix that. Okay.
That IPA is solid. We haven't had a not solid beer here, though.
That's true.
Style-wise, I mean, it's not like a giant risk type of beer where it may or may not go, but just great, solid examples of a style. All right, if you want to follow Austin, where do they find you?
Find me on Instagram, Aus10Weber, AUS10_Weber.
Loved the tour. Do it if you get on a ship. All right, brewery tour feedback, phenomenal. Lots and lots of beer. We left beer on the table. They were giving out pitchers.
I think there's an elevator.
There's only so much beer you can actually drink. So we're moving on. We're going to see if we can still catch Brew for St. Jude. We still have certificates for a free beer, pint glass, the whole enchilada. And we ate Guys Pig and Anchor. Which
A lot of it. A lot. It was super nummy. Hi, Aaron. Hello, hello. So, quick question. We wanted to take advantage of all the activities available on the ship, and we are constantly favoriting everything in our apps. Unfortunately, there's several times where an event we've signed up for runs over, and then we're not able to attend another one. For example, this morning, we signed up for the brewery tour, and it happened to run over, and Brew for St. Jude was over by the time we got there. How does a person on the ship involve themselves with Brew for St. Jude when your event's not going on? Is there a kiosk? Is there a person we can contact?
Yes, you can go to our Cherry on Top store. And Cherry on Top, where they sell the candy, you can donate, and they've got t-shirts there. So Cherry on Top actually, throughout the cruise, is always accepting St. Jude donations. So you're able to do that right there at the candy shop on deck 5 forward, right in the atrium. So they'll have shirts there for you, so you can donate and all of that will go right to St. Jude.
What do you think about this Cherry on Top thing?
We're gonna see if it works. It's one floor up, so off we go.
24/7 Brew for St. Jude. Cherry on top. Let's find out if it's true.
Hi. I'm told that I can donate to Brew for St. Jude here and get a t-shirt.
Yes, but we have a limited size only.
Okay.
Yeah, that's normal.
And they're $20 a piece, right?
$10.
$10? I want a extra large and a medium. And do you guys have the bears here too?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine.
In the Camp Ocean,
Okay.
they are the ones who sell the beer.
Okay. So we might be able to go to Camp Ocean and get the bear.
Yeah, this is pretty fucking encouraging. So you don't actually have to make Brew for St. Jude. Just go up to Cherry on Top.
Yeah.
Hold my phone.
I'm not sure if I know that's
Okay, so off to Camp Ocean, which I believe is on deck 11.
That part is legit. 24/7, or well, as long as Cherry on Top is open, you can do Brew for St. Jude. I mean, like I said, we don't really care about t-shirts. We just want to make sure that the cruising community is represented and caring. So, yeah, that worked out.
John, hello.
Camp Ocean.
Hey guys.
We're on a mission, and we were told that we can come here and get the Brew for St. Jude bear.
All right. Yes, but we're closed right now. We're going to open in 7 minutes. Is that okay?
So if we come back in 7 minutes, we can get the bear?
Okay.
Yeah, we can wait 7 minutes. Okay, begin the countdown. I got 1:55. Can you see that on my watch?
Well, that's going to be 2 ice cream cones, not 1. Hi, I'd like to buy a Brew for St. Jude bear.
I'm sorry. I can't eat ice cream in it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about this. We have kids here.
Okay.
Hello, how are you? Hi guys, just give me a second, okay? Here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Totally don't understand why I had to put my mask on and hold my ice cream. Because I was actually eating. Actively eating. But I have my beer. Champ Ocean.
So it's possible to do it. It might require a few extra steps and watching your ice cream melt while you don't eat it, but you can do it.
Yeah.
Let's go drop this shit off.
Okay.
Check this out.
We've successfully...
I have a diploma
Yeah.
from the Carnival Cruise Line. Would like to recognize us for their participation in the Parched Pig Brewery Tour. I don't know about
We're a
you,
big deal.
but I'm kind of a big deal on the horizon.
This shit's getting framed.
Krista is kind of a big deal on the horizon. And guess who spotted 2 of the 3 hops that are in the IPA?
That would be me.
That would be Krista. And Austin's like, chicks have better, well, females, women, have better palates than men. And so they're able to isolate those flavors and correlate them to an actual hop that exists.
I couldn't figure out the 3rd hop, though. That was really driving me nuts.
Yeah, and he wasn't telling either.
No, he wasn't. He's been stingy.
So, yeah, you know.
It's a thing.
We do our thing.
Yeah.
We're a big deal.
Yeah.
And we got our group for St. Jude, so I'm in a better mood. I've been pretty funky today. Everything that goes wrong, I'm like just negative on, so I got to snap the fuck out of it. I'm thinking a hot challenge might help.
Let's go.
I think it's partly because it's the last day of the cruise, so I'm just kind of Nelly negative. So I gotta get that out. Like, I was ready to go read the cruise director of the fucking riot act. She's like, "Oh no, you just go over to the fucking cherry on top and get." I'm like, "All right, never mind."
I raised my hand to talk. I didn't want him talking.
Right. All right, let's go find some shit.
I got my shit.
Just grabbing a little walk around. Thought we would climb up high, see what's up here. We haven't hung out too much on the upper weather. Serenity.
Kind of cool.
Typical Serenity.
Yeah. I just have. Hi. Just haven't seen this deck yet. This is pretty fucking cool.
It's a pretty good Serenity.
Yeah.
I still think my favorite Serenity was
Miracle.
He was good though.
Yeah. Okay, I'm working it out. Just keep walking. You don't want to be behind me. These are really private. Totally see how these like are gone first thing, because those
On
are
a
really
busy cruise, I can see that.
Yeah.
What's out there?
There's a bot. Is that the hookers and cocaine?
I think that's yacht life or another different ship. That one cut across our aft earlier. Definitely a boat though.
So I can see how good 15 would be bigger.
Yeah, this ship is laid out really well.
Really well.
Yeah. Just usable space of varying degrees of shade without
Right.
just being next to a bunch of noise, out baking in the sun. It's
Yep.
nice.
Yeah. I'm really liking this class of ship. So I will be looking at this class more often.
Pizza. Krista will go get a salad. I'm just not disappointed in the pizza on Carnival. I know a lot of people don't like it, but just because it's bad don't mean, or just because you don't like it don't mean it's bad. I don't like a lot of things on a cruise ship. Pizza happens to be one I like. What up?
What's happening, degenerates?
Well, this is our last sea day. Brought to a close. Tomorrow's debarkation day.
They kick us off.
Yeah, a great cruise though. I had a great time.
Amazing.
So we're gonna turn in and call it a night, and we'll check in with you tomorrow morning before we get off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
There's just no way to put a good spin on this. We had a great time. Celebrate the day.
Celebrate the day.
Thanks for watching. Much love to our friends. Be the good in the world. Spread the love and go on an adventure. Please like, comment, and subscribe.